love you. Evening, everybody.
Bonjour.
How you doing? Hope you're all good.
Bonjour, mon ami.
Bonjour, petit pois, mon
Toot.
toots.
Yes.
Yeah. Hope you're all good. Hope you're all fine, dandy. Hope you're all having an awesome weekend.
Thank you very much, Owen, for the 5 memberships.
Yes,
Bless
thank
you.
you very much, Owen. Much appreciated. I'll do it right. Apologies, first of all, before we start tonight. I had a hell of a night. As you see, the face is looking fungified because I haven't trimmed anything up, so I'm not looking my usual tidy self.
I'm just half in and half out. I'm back in now.
Yeah, so do apologise. Let's get the hat off. And
so, evening, Angels with Dirty Faces, Island Jason, Walk Cook Walk, Owen, Bill, where else we got? Andy B. Have I missed anyone?
Let me see. Further down the list, I'll rotate that through.
That's right, my phone just went.
Yeah. No, you've got pretty much everybody there.
Hey.
So, hope you're all good. Hope everything's great with you. Right, so what are we doing tonight? Well, first of all, I will do my usual 7-day prep report for the world. So, basically, for the US, carry on pretty much the same as you got last week. Hopefully, your cold spell is coming to an end. Do be aware of meltwater and so forth. And you'll possibly got a lot of... I do apologise, rain coming into you. So, yeah, watch out for those floods. Europe, temperatures dropping in Europe. Has been quite a cold spell for places in southern Europe and eastern Europe. And temperature is due to come down further. UK, okay, so the UK, we're a 50-50 split as we have been most of the winter. There is a chance towards the end of the week of it getting very cold. Temperatures are due to come down all over, but we shouldn't be getting frosts at this end of the country till later in the week. However, if you are in Scotland, the Highlands and so forth, be aware because you've pretty much got the lot. You on the west side, you've got wind and rain. On the east side, you've got snow and freezing. So, yeah, pretty much.
And the Isle of Wight has got a yellow warning, whole of the island, for flooding, really bad flooding.
Yeah, so, yeah, wherever you are, pretty much that's our one
it's
for
moist,
you.
Damp, flooding, get your boats out, and where's Hovcroft?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah, watch the water. If you're living in low-lying areas, or you live on a house that used to be on a floodplain, especially here in the UK, because they've built lots of them.
Move stuff upstairs.
Start taking your precautions now, just in case. Even if you don't need it,
you never know.
Set your mind at risk. Set your mind at rest when you're out and about at work, school, things like that. You're not suddenly sitting there thinking, "Oh,
we are fine," because outside our back door we've got a 14'6" canoe. It's a 3-seater, so me, him, and Willow are sorted.
Willow, otherwise known as the skipper.
Hi, Karina.
I do have to apologise to some of you. I've been putting up a couple of shorts with music in because I've discovered the delights of AI or being able to inspire AI to write me a few songs. So I've been playing with that a little bit. And I did put up a short with Willow on it, which was kindly created for me by my friend Island Jason.
It's fantastic. That's had nearly 900 views now.
Yeah, I'm probably going to end up sticking that on the end of my video. So instead of me saying it, Willow gets to stay it forever.
Bushcraft Sausage has got his size 15 hiking boots. So it gets too wet.
Walking upon water.
Yeah.
Yes, we don't cover anything faith-wise, but it looks like you're walking upon water. So, Bushcraft Sussex.
Look at this, people. Look at this fantastic piece of work done by Bushy himself from Bushcraft Sussex. Look at the majesty work on that. I am absolutely blown away with the gifts we had from you and Lee Roberts. I've got that lovely spatula, and you've got
I've got a proper digger, right? That is a proper digger. That anybody that's seen me eat knows that I needed a shovel, and
it needs to be about 4 inches wider. To be honest,
I don't mess. I get in and it goes down, and that is going to get used. So again,
we got a
Bushy. Thank you so very much. They are treasured items that we are going to love using.
Yeah, Bushy, we found something. You got a little something coming that.
Just a little something.
It just reminds me of you, my love. So.
Yeah, Sussex, that's the man.
Yeah, Bushy actually sent some pictures of this to my mother because, as you know, my father used to whittle, and she said amazing, and she wasn't surprised the fact that you come from Sussex because my dad was a Sussex born lad as well.
Yeah. So as Max says, everybody knows that he used to be fed with a catapult. Yeah. I had 3 brothers, one of which was always hungry, so it was like first in, first served.
Oh, the banner! Yeah, that's actually a banner. It's got 4 of the little holes each side, and we've just put that up. Yeah, we were quite chuffed at that.
Thought it might be just in case anybody's flicking past, they suddenly know who the 2 lunatics are that they have in front of them. So I'm on the alcohol free again tonight. There's no alcohol entering Mick, especially with the new driving laws. And I don't know if any of you are aware, it's worth letting it out and spreading the news to everybody, but the government has decided, which I think is right enough in its own way, to lower the alcohol level allowed in a driver's bloodstream in the UK. So they're going to bring that down to, I think it's 20 millilitres per whatever litres per breath. And I know I've already spoken to a couple of people, it's not fair, it's not fair. I didn't realise the UK had the highest alcohol level in the bloodstream in Europe.
Wow.
And I do think, even though I enjoy a drink, at the end of the day, it just ain't worth the risk, is it?
Good evening, Mike from Minsk.
Yeah. As Jason's saying, it's 0 there, and I agree with that.
We're nearly that now, aren't we?
It should be 0 because, let's face it, at the end of the day, you're in control of a dangerous piece of machinery. And I know from my own experience, I don't drink a lot. And I can have a pint and be fucking wobbling. Other people that I know will drink 5 or 6 of the same pints and I have no effect on them. So where do you start with saying that's the rule? I agree with Jason, and I do think it should be 0. Absolutely.
We were watching some old videos. I won't say the channel, but they were having a pint at the pub, and they actually said they would have had a second one, but they've taken the drink with them. Well, thing is now, 2 pints and you were driving.
2 pints should have been over the limit now.
Yeah.
So again, it's just that little bit of common sense.
Hi, John.
And I do think having a 0 limit actually makes it a lot easier for people, because I was an ex-doorman, the conversations I've heard over the years, like, how much am I allowed? Well, if I'm allowed, I can get away with a pint. I can get away with 2 pints, and maybe just a half on top of that. That's where the issues come in. It's not that people intentionally go and get pissed. It's that people make an error of judgment. And if you set the rule as 0, everybody knows where they stand.
I'll just put this up to show people like John and that who's just come in the room. This wonderful thing this spoon was made for me by Bushy from Bushcross, Sussex there. Shows it on her and you got your...
Yeah, and he made me a digger.
Yeah.
A proper man digger. That's going to get my porridge into me quick in the morning. So, I hope you're all good. Hiya, John. Hope you're grand, mate. Max. Mike from Minsk. Hello, mate. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a good day. Jason, obviously. Not sure what the wood is, Jace. I'm not sure what the wood is. I'm pretty sure...
Ash. Lovely.
Ash. Oh, there we go.
Because I've noticed that mine's got like you see that red line through? It's beautiful, and it actually comes through the bowl as well.
That's the art of a carver, isn't it?
Yeah.
Being able to look at the grain and see the pattern in it. I mean, even in that spoon, the way he's captured the grain there is absolutely beautiful.
It's got a nipple on the back. Sorry.
Do excuse my wife. She is.
I've had a bad week.
Yeah, she has had a bad week.
Had a bad week, and so
certain medicines haven't come through.
No.
So she's been off of her thyroxine for a few days, which has brought her mesothyroid levels are all over the place. So it's affecting sleep.
All I want to do is sleep,
comfort.
And
So a bit of a review for you. So as you know, I love reading. And I collect books, and I love to read books. Some books I read and I think they're pants, I throw them straight in the bin. Others I absolutely love. So, whilst I was out and about this week, I came across 2 books by the same authors, and I've had them recommended to me in the past. There's a whole series of books called the Worst Case Scenario books. And people have kept saying to me for years, yeah, you need to have a look at these. Well, so I did. So I got the Worst Case Scenario Survival Handbook. I also picked up.
Yes, of course, Mike. You're welcome to post a link. That would be fantastic. Thank you.
The Worst Case Scenario Survival Handbook Apocalypse. Now, these are written by experts. They are compiled and written by experts in the various fields of survival. The subjects are really well handled. I have got no arguments with them at all. But what these guys have done with these books, which absolutely really made my day, was they've added some humour. So, although it may cover things like how to break down a door in an emergency, how to land a plane, light aircraft that is, how to survive a car crash or escape from a sinking car, they also will give you things in there with a bit of humour, okay? Like how to fight off a zombie, how to build your own empire, okay? But the books are written with humour. They have humorous sections in them, but the information is simple, accurate, and well informed. And as it says in the beginnings of these books, life happens, survival happens, emergencies happen. The idea of these books is to give you that preloading that I'm always talking about, that little bit of thought in the back of your head.
Yeah, because that one is survival handbook, and this one is the apocalypse one.
Yeah. How to get by. What do I do in an emergency? Okay. So these are absolutely brilliant books, and the apocalypse one goes through everything about how not to panic, how to think about a SHTF situation, how to pack your bags, how to proof your finances, how to survive an alien invasion, a zombie horde, global supercomputer, how to fight a robot uprising, and then how to survive floods, how to survive wildfires, how to survive a tsunami, what to do in the event of a volcanic eruption.
Good evening, Three Dogs.
So, although there's sections in there that have humour in them, there are also very, very practical sections and pointers. So, 2 books I would recommend. I'm going to have a look, see if I can get the rest of the series. Okay. So, Worst Case Scenarios. Brilliant books. Have a look at it. They do them as audio books as well, I believe, on Amazon. So,
oh dear. What have you done to upset your angry Portuguese missus then, Bushy? Mike can only post links if he's a moderator.
Right, Mike, what I'll do, I'm not going to be able to do it tonight, but what I'll do, I'll get Kaz to make a note of it, and I will make you a moderator, because what I'm terrified of, if I touch anything now, I lose the feed, or I end up losing the feed and making a mess of it.
Post the links.
So what we will do, we will make you a moderator. You will be a moderator for next week, so you can post the link. If there's any others of you that ever want to become a moderator and help us and keep an eye on some of the stuff's going out there, like Owen, Life's a Hobby, like Sticks, like Kitten, give us a shout. So
Bushcraft left his wife at home with the kids all day.
Bit fatal that one, mate. You forgot the golden rule. You didn't turn up at home covered in blood, clothes ripped, right, looking like you've been dragged by an alligator, but bearing gifts. Okay, that's the secret. Yeah. I'm so sorry I'm late and I left you here all day long. But there was this alligator pulled me into the river, dragged me away. I managed to save a small child. I swam to the bank and all the rest of it. I walked the 30 miles round, come back just to keep people safe. There was an old people's home on fire. I ran in, pulled people out, saved their lives as well. But I still remember to go to the shop and I got you a box of Ferrero Rocher. That's how I deal with it.
Max has got to find some of the story stuff as him and his wife are parting ways.
Oh, sorry to hear that, Max. I am sorry to hear that.
So we might have to go get a garage and go nomadic again.
Oh, mate, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, life. What can you do?
Oh, thanks, Sticks. Mike from Minsk. Sticks has put the link up anyway for you.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that, Max.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that,
Evening,
mate.
Sticks.
Evening, Sticks. Hope you're good, mate. Hope you're grand. A few crew mites, 29 degrees. Feels like 16. Sunny but windy. Yeah. Oh,
I'm going to do it again. Look at my lovely bushcraft spoon from Bushy from Sussex. Bushcraft Sussex. I'm so sorry.
And she's not touched any alcohol.
No, I'm just having some fizzy drink. I think it's sugar.
So yeah, the EDC kits. Some of you have got the EDC kits already. Some of you have got the EDC kits coming out to you this week. We're going to do a post office run on Tuesday. Thank you very much for those guys that have bought them. Thank you very much for the support. It is appreciated. Did get a couple of questions, which I will deal with now. One of the questions was, somebody was concerned about the little LED light, these little LED lights, because although it looks quite fragile, it looks like glass. I can assure you, I've worn these and carried these both in the military and as a civilian for many years. I've never managed to break one of those LED bulbs. Okay, I've even used one to score glass, so they are pretty sturdy. As to waterproof, they are reasonably waterproof. Put it this way, I've been in and out of water with them. They've never let me down, but I wouldn't say it's something that would survive continual submersion.
I've got one of those attached to my handbag, and I'm not one of the normal ladies with a handbag. I throw my bag down everywhere. I throw it on the floor of the car, and I put my feet on it. I do use the light, especially the last few weeks. Our local Morrison, the disabled toilets had no lights, so I've been using it there. And I haven't destroyed mine either. And I am so hard on my light, and it worked fantastic. So yeah. What I'm the EDCs. This is the full EDC kit. You get the keyring with the Hampshire Outdoors and Survival. You get the dog tag that you can fill with your name, emergency number, and date of birth or blood group. You also get the whistle that comes with the ferro rod, so it strikes. And I think I've got it running the wrong way, haven't I? Oh, yes. And lastly, it comes with the light, and those are, if you want the whole set, that's £10. If you just want the light, I shall have to. I can give you a price on that separate. But this week, I'll be contacting all those who give me orders, and I will give them the price with the postage and the payment details. But I've had a bad week this week, so obviously I'm behind. But so just let me know if you want the light on its own. I can get back to you, Bill.
Yep. So basically, what I'll do Tuesday, I'm going to be doing the post office run. So I'm going to give Kaz a hand. We'll get on top of that and get that organised. 112 millimeters of rain in 8 hours. Blimey. And we're moaning and whinging here when we get 35 millimeters in 24 hours. Blimey, that's an incredible amount
poor
of
rain. Mac, last Sunday on the live, he noticed water coming through the roof of his flat, and it is still coming through the roof of his flat. He's actually having to use a tarp across his furniture to stop the water ruining his floors and that. So Mac's having a really damp time of it.
Yeah, not good at all. And of course, the association behind that aren't really pulling their finger out. It's not an emergency. No, it's not an emergency. Sod it. So yeah, it's what can you do? Right, so the EDC pack, right, so basically the EDC kit is based on my EDC kit, right? So this is the basis of my EDC.
We'll do
A
Andy.
lot of people you see carrying a pack with multiple items in it, knives and so on. My EDC kit goes around my neck. When we spoke about doing this in the beginning, a lot of people got back to me and said didn't really want to carry it around their neck. They wanted something they could put on a keychain. So what we did was we copied my EDC kit. We took that and
orange and green versions.
So my EDC kit consists of an emergency light. So it's one of these little LED micro lights. Okay, designed. One of the reasons I love them so much is I can literally put it in my mouth, bite down on it, and I've got enough light to read by, walk by, do what I need to do. That is an emergency light. That is your initial light to go, hang on, where's my decent torch? Where's my pack? Where's the way out? And so on. It's an EDC emergency light. There's a dog tag on there. Same as my kit. The only difference is my kit has the UK style dog tag, which is a lot smaller. We went with the American style dog tag. So it's stainless steel with a nice rubber outer. So at the end of the day, it's not going to cut you or anything like that. You could put an edge on it if you wanted to. But the other thing is you can get that engraved with whatever emergency details you need on there for yourself. You get one of these lovely Hampshire Outdoors and Survival key fobs, okay, which really doesn't have any survival aids other than morale, okay. And then this item here, which is a good powerful whistle and built-in ferro rod, okay. So the idea is you are carrying on yourself at all times a way of making light and a way of making fire and a way of signalling. Everything else you can adapt to. So I see a lot of EDC kits which are massive. Okay, now I carry toolkits, I do carry EDC kits, but these are the primary items. These are the primary backup items got in here. Doesn't mean that I don't go out without a ferro rod because I've got that. Now this is my emergency EDC kit. It's a basic couple of items that can get me by if I've lost everything else, if I've fallen in the river, my bag's gone and so on. Otherwise, signalling, making fire, making a light. And these little LED lights, okay, they are small, but they are mighty. Okay, you could use that for signalling over quite a distance, okay, as well as being able to light up.
And your choice is green or orange. Yes, Mike. Yeah, the UK dog tags are round, whereas the American dog tags are more rectangle. Yeah. Also, Max off to Bude with Rob or 6th of March.
Nice.
To Fisher Canal.
So, I'm always looking for kit. Okay, I'm always looking for items that I think, do you know what, that's pretty good. And I'm often looking in the out the way places. I'm not always looking in the main stores and that. I've always got my eyes open for items that could come in handy. And I went to fill up the car at a supermarket garage just recently. And like a lot of these supermarket garages, especially ones that are owned by franchises, they like to sell gadgets. Now, in a lot of these garages, you'll see promotional items. You'll see a little stand full of those
strange, isn't it, Mike?
Odds and sods that you can find handy. You know, the yellow sunglasses that really don't work. The automatic map compass reader that you, could use the first time on a sunny day your map bursts into flames. But one of the things I did see this week when I was out and about getting fuel was this. Okay. Now, it caught my eye because it's yellow. Yellow catches my eye. Don't know why. It is 2 inches square. And it was advertised on the promotional thing as the super light. Okay, so I looked at the guy and I looked at it, felt it, and I was like, it's quite weighty. It's USB rechargeable. Let's give it a look. Okay, so switch on. First setting, second setting, third setting, fourth setting. It's like owning a sun in your hand. Okay, but then you go to the second switch on the back, you've got a yellow light setting. So it gives you yellow lighting. If you press and hold, you've got an extreme bright red light. Press that again, and you've got a red strobe. Now, this is 4.4 watts, this thing. USB rechargeable. I've been playing with it for the last day and a bit. It's magnetic, it has a hook, and it has a little sort of stand for it, I suppose you could call it. £9. Okay, £9. It's a lot of money for a cheap torch, but so far I've actually fallen in love with it. It also has a brass reset ring there for putting onto a camera mount. So I'm going to buy myself another one of these, and that's probably going to give me a couple of reasonable lights for filming at night.
They were £9.99 at the Morrison's garage.
Yeah, £9.99 at the garage. So if you're in your local garage and you're looking at the rubbish, because a lot of the stuff that they sell as these promotional items are rubbish, but occasionally you get a good one, and that's actually worked out quite good. Yeah, I mean the yellow lenses. Okay,
don't get me wrong. Andy was saying that yellow is better for him because he gets migraines.
Yeah. So yellow lens glasses. I have, for driving, a pair of yellow lens glasses. My driving glasses are a yellow lens. I had them made to prescription to order for me because they do take the glare off. They actually make it a lot easier for me to see on bright days and at night. It gives me better depth perception, especially against modern headlights where we've got this super bright white light, which in actual fact, for me, I don't think are any better. They don't give any detail. There's just a stupidly bright white light that is so clean. It doesn't give you any contours. It doesn't. You can't see any depth to anything. I put the yellow glasses on. I got no problem at all. So the yellow light works a lot better. It's a lot more subtle. The lights we've got running in here for filming with aren't a white light. They're a yellow light.
Yeah.
And that tends to give us a little bit more depth, a little bit more detail. So yeah, you find it.
Your legs a bit wider.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, so great little bit of kit.
It's not the bits we got on the we bought in as well are some of the like carabiner clamps. I know you can get the sort of cheap ones that are quite sort of bendy. Well, these ones are they're metal coated, but they've also got the screw, so you have to undo the screw to open it, which I thought was quite good. And we'd also got these. Oh God, I just lost one. These are the glow in the dark that you put on your
fluorescent buttons.
Yeah, fluorescent buttons. They're the ones you put in your key fobs and zippers. So for those who don't know how to do it, you just thread them through, put them through. Well, my hands get in the way.
Like a lark's head.
Like that. And then you have, so you can find your things because they're glowing in the dark, and they do glow quite strongly. So we have lots of tens of those.
On my black smock, I've got one on every pocket pretty much. They do work well. They're not bright. They're not going to stand out 10 miles away. But see what you're doing, looking for kit, things like keys. If you drop them, it's a handy bit of kit to have.
And we also, they had the phone holders last week, or you can use them with torches and that. We've also got them in the sand colour and also the black.
Yes, for those of you that want to look smart.
Yes, so you can put your torches in there, you can put your phones in there, you can put your tobacco stuff in there, and they're all Molly ones. We've got the extra straps on. So
on top of that, talking about pouches, Gaz.
Hey.
We've also had a look round because I for yonks have used the same water pouches. Okay, so
Bill said it's something else. It's a cow hitch. Thank you. Did I say the wrong thing?
Cow hitch, lark's head, whichever.
Yeah, the LED car lights definitely are very blinding.
So, simple little pouch with a mesh in the bottom for putting your water bottle in, so that the water does drain out of it. We'll take a grail. Okay, we've got those. We've got those with Molly. Okay,
they're in the sand, the black, and we've also got the olive green.
Got a little clip there, so you can put a strap on it if you wanted to. And yeah, takes a grail. We'll take a standard Nalgene bottle,
or
nicely.
thermos.
So again, you can get hold of us if you want one of those. Anyhow, it's enough selling stuff. That's enough selling stuff.
Just let you know that we are thinking of you.
So getting back to general survival, general methodologies, thoughts, patterns, and that, especially for the moment.
Oh, okay. So 3 Dog would like to know what you use for a wick in your brass candle.
In my brass candle, a standard candle wick, or a which one do you mean? In
that's good, isn't it? I looked on the floor and it's dark in there, and I found it under glowing.
In that one, you can buy online standard wicks, and you can get them in various diameters. So that's what I've got in there.
A bit closer to the thing. You can't. I see.
That's what I have in there. And in my oil lamps, I always use a proper oil lamp wick. There are alternative things you can do. You can produce them out of cotton, linen, and other bits and pieces. But I tend to sort of go and buy them. The fire lanterns, you can buy their own brand of wicks. They cost a little bit more than some of the cheap ones you'll get on by the Chinese knockoffs, but they work better, and they're made to a higher standard.
Hello, Willow.
Yeah. Yeah, Zippo wick replacements. Yeah, they'll work. Okay, and again, it's the same thing. It's an old saying, but you buy the proper stuff, and it tends to work a bit better. You can, sail twine works. Anything.
John said, "Did you get the extra wick?"
Yes, I did get the extra wicks too, which I have put away actually in my bottom cupboard. Thank you very much for those, John. They are going to come in handy. I've got a couple of ideas with them. One of those is going to get laced with saltpeter.
That's also another thing maybe to add to your kit for getting together, is actually to get some wick to put to one side, because you never know. You
can buy rolls of candle wick online for candle making. And then cut it to the length you want, or you can then practice twisting them together, even plaiting them to make thicker and larger wicks.
Is a carol hitch like a prusik knot?
It's of the prusik family.
Yeah.
John, actually, I'm not going to jump in on it because Jason did a really good. Island Jason did a fantastic video this week on lark's head knots, or not lark's head hitches. Okay, let's get this right. Remember the simple terminology. A knot is something you don't intend to undo. That's why it's called a knot, not to be undone. A hitch is something that's designed to be pulled and released to get something away. It's a hitch. It's for temporary anchoring and holding things in place. I am beaten into me as a Royal Engineer. Don't call it rope. It's cordage. Okay, so
you made Willow run. Poor Willow. He just come in the room and
sorry, mate.
Yeah.
Yes, your dad.
Yeah.
Oh, here he is.
Here he is, the man of the moment.
The man of the moment. Yeah. Go on, say it. Those you do, forgive those you don't. These are like people on your wall. You're not in uniform tonight, are you?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, look, you frightened the dog. He's comatose. He's like the most fainting goats.
He's sleepy dog.
Yeah. I like
yeah, they do. It's and again, so one of the things is there are books and stories and writings on knots and hitches and cordage and ropes and hawsers and lines. There are thousands of ways of doing it. The truth of the matter, and this is the truth of the matter, is you need to find. Okay, go on then. You need to find one knot and one hitch that you find the easiest to do, that you can have faith in, that you can trust. Okay, so you practice those two till you can do them literally one-handed with your eyes shut. Okay, and they become your standard go-to. The real important thing with knots and hitches isn't knowing 300 types of knots and hitches. Okay, it's knowing that if you need to fasten something or you need to connect something in an emergency, in a hurry, when you're injured, when the world and the weather and the conditions are against you, you've got something you can go to that you're so practiced at that it's going to work. Okay, and most hitches will double up. So if you think of a standard,
Bill says that Ashley Book of Knots, 1001 Knots and Hitches. A very good book. Oh.
Yeah, and it gives you the chance to go and find what's going to work for you. So let me.
I'm not able to do it. What I've started having now is these fingers, the pads and part of the finger. They're numb all the time, so I'm finding it really hard to better feel what I'm touching. So I'm gonna have to learn to do knots with my left hand.
A simple overhand running loop. Twist, pull through. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows that simple knot. Okay, it is a simple knot. Okay, perform another one on the side of it, on the moving side of it. There, you've got a locked loop. As simple as that. When you need to undo it, you just literally pull it and it's done. Okay, that was the first knot I ever learned as a kid and became the basis of 90% of what I want to do. So if I want to put tension on a line, I can form a running loop, pull that out, take the loose end back around whatever I need to, tree or whatever, so it's actually pulled through there. And then all I do is tension up on that and lock it off again with a simple overhanded loop. And if I'm worried that a loop's going to come undone in a storm or bad weather, I'll run the tail through it. That's going to end up as a block for it. So again,
Simon said, could you do a bow line, please?
No.
God. All right.
No, I couldn't do a bow line. Okay, I'm not an expert in knots. Then that is my point. Find what works for you and run with it. You don't need to know.
Bow line rabbit comes out the hole, runs around the tree, back down the hole.
You don't need to know 300 knots. Okay, so you want to be able to practice the knots so that you can literally do it when you need to without failing. I have faith in it.
Well, John's said he's got knot tie shorts in his feed all the time on YouTube. Some good, some cool. But no idea when I'm using. That's it. I mean,
that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, there does become a bit of a knot snobbery, but the truth of the matter is knowing what's going to work for you. So find two.
Like Simon said, well, Bill being ex-Navy, that's their first line, isn't it? Bow line is there.
Yeah, standard line. So find what works for you and go with that. For me, my basic hitch is that simple overhanded loop, okay? And that adapts into everything I need to do. The Prosic, I can use to connect onto that line. Again, it's a great system. So I use that overhanded loop, running loop, the Prosic, and then pretty much a standard figure 8 as a stop knot or as a locking knot.
That's weird. Benny says, how weird is that? Tonight's video says I'm shit at knots and I pop in and you're all doing knots.
Yeah. So, it's just find what works for you. Don't get. If you want to learn knots, I'm not saying don't learn knots. It's a great hobby. It's a great pastime and all the rest of it. But the priority is find the two that work for you, practice with them and use them. We can all tie knots. Every single one of us can tie a shoelace. Okay. Why do I not see people tying shoelace style knots on survival videos? Why do I not see people tying bows onto things? Right? Because it's probably one of the most sensible pressure hitches that you're ever going to see in your life. Otherwise, we wouldn't use it for keeping our shoes on our feet. But people sit there and they go, oh, you just tied a simple bow. Yeah, I tied a simple bow because it works, because that's what shoes are done with. So if I need to connect two lines,
now are all done with their slip-ons, Velcro, or
If I want to connect two lines together around a tree, so things like ratchets, tree straps, and things like that, I'll run the two ends around it, and quite often I will use exactly the same knot as I use on my shoes, a bow. and it's easy to release. But once it's on, it's locked. It's not going to come off. Otherwise, we wouldn't use them in our shoes. So the simple bow that you put into your shoe is probably one of the best hitches in all history, or the most commonly used.
That's why as a kid you always did double ones as well, because you didn't trust yourself or someone to tread on the end of your laces, did you?
Teresa, exactly that. If it does the job, it's golden, and that's the truth of it. I've brought people into camps or run courses for people, and I've done a simple knot, putting up a tarp or something like that. Simple handlock. Oh yeah, you're not much of an expert, you mate. See, I would use the triple overhanded, reverse, one-eyed budger knot, and you look at them, you go, "Is it holding the fucking tarp up?"
As Jason said, though, shoe knots are not for supporting your weight ever.
Right, they don't support your weight, okay? And I wouldn't use, but I've used them time and time again, and I find no problem with them. I've never had one release. All right, I've got to admit, the loose ends I do pop back through the loops so that the knot can't come undone. But if you're tying up a pair of boots, okay, how reliable does that not have to be? All right, and why has that one not become the one that is pretty much a standard for shoes, for joining two cables together on a shoe? Well, it's because it does work and it's easy to release.
Yeah, I'm saying it's scary. Owen, scary.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
holding it in top. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't use it
No.
So abseiling. Okay, so
yeah.
If I'm anchoring off abseiling and that, then yeah, I am your worst nightmare. Jason would probably be horrified at some of the magnificent knots I've created before going over a 60-70 foot cliff, because it is tied off and tied off again and tied off again, until I'm confident and happy that damn thing's not going anywhere. But again, the knot I've done and I've created, what I've created there, I'm happy it's going to work. Or more often than not, make sure I've got enough line to actually run it through and feed it back on itself. So whenever I've done climbing initially or eventually, the goal is to get to where I need to go and then be able to retrieve my line. So it's going to be on a running system. But yeah, find what works. Shoelace knot, simple bow, yeah. Figure 8 on a bike, yeah. Reef knot bow, yeah. Just find what works. Find what works for you and run with it. You know, sorry, Stealth. Yeah, we'll stay off the subject of abseiling. That's a bit of a sore subject for you, yeah.
Poor Stealth.
Yeah, and again, something like Iron and Jason. So he's been involved in a lot of climbing and that. Same as Bushcraft Rebooted. So he's an ex-rigger. Those of you that are ex-sailors, okay. The knots you learn are specific for the fields you use, then the knots you use in those fields are designed to be efficient for the jobs in. But for the average Joe, the average bloke, the important thing is, yeah, like I say, have those two. Have the two that you know you can trust. Might not be pretty, but it works. And have faith in it. Practice with it. Okay, if you want to know if a knot's going to take your weight, then practice tying it off and suspending yourself from it, and then putting shock loads onto it. And when I say shock loads, I mean climbing rope's designed to take a shock. It's not a rigid rope; it's elasticated to a level, so that if you fall and you fall against it, the rope is designed to actually take some of that impact out and absorb it, rather than
one
just
thing we were going to say tonight. I don't think that Roaming Ray will be joining us.
No, he won't be
tonight. Unfortunately, his brother passed away this week.
Yeah,
and we saw a post from him, and we were in a conversation with him. So yeah, unfortunately,
yeah. So
he's
Ray,
lost his brother.
Ray, if you're watching this tomorrow, mate,
yeah,
our hearts, thoughts, and prayers go out to your brother, and yeah, all the best, mate. That's all we can say. It's very, very difficult.
Hi, Lee.
Hi, Lee. How you doing, mate? Hope you're good. Hey, don't worry about being late.
Yeah. No one late. Long the pub's doors open, you're never late.
Yeah, glass up for Ray.
I believe he lives in
He's out west. He's in the West Country,
and he actually he works with horses, race horses, I believe. And at the moment, it's a very busy time for him as well because it's foaling from it was from the 18th of January. So yeah,
Ray is one of the loveliest blokes I've ever met. He's another one of those quiet-spoken country gentlemen who they don't say a lot, but they do a lot. If you know what I mean. He has every time he's come to the camp, he's always brought a wood supply for us. He's a real genuine gentleman. He'll turn up with it, and I've had people say, "Do you want me to bring a few logs?" And they'll turn up with a few logs. Ray says to me, "Do you want me to bring a few logs?" And I'll always say, "Yes, please."
I remember,
you wouldn't believe how many he brings.
He's always said that he'd never do a channel because he's right, but it's amazing now that he's got his own channel, as you all know, and he's got 108 subscribers now, and he's blown away. He didn't realise he would
Ray
get any.
He's a gentleman. He's a nice, decent gentleman, and I have a world of respect and time for him. In actual fact, we replied to a message: if there's anything I can do, Ray, in any way, form, or manner, just give us a shout. That's not a problem. I'm there for you. He's a lovely bloke. Patience of a saint. Although I wouldn't like to go on the wrong side of him, because I bet you that
am I right that Lee Roberts taught him how to do the bow drill, and he got it like
first
that.
Time, yeah. First time.
The dreaded bow drill. Yes.
Not the dreaded bow drill.
Yeah. Three Dog would like to know: have you ever tried SOF Rush in your oil lamp?
No, I haven't. An SOS Rush. Or tried. Oh yeah. Rush as it. I know what you mean. As in using like Bull Rush and so on. No, I haven't. I've seen it done, and I've seen people make rush lights. It's not something I've ever really got into myself. It's more of a bushcrafting thing than what I tend to go down. And this is one of the things. I'm not knocking bushcraft. Please don't think I'm knocking bushcraft. Sticks will kill me. Bushcraft is a fantastic foundation for anybody that wants to get into survival. Okay, it gives you a lot of ancient knowledge, a lot of skills, and a lot of developments. I come more from a military background, which is more about kit and preparedness. Okay, this is one of the things I find fascinating. So in all my life, my teachings have been: have the kit, have the equipment, deal with the problem. Bushcraft tends to teach people more skills about being able to take and develop the kit from the wild, the environment around you. Okay, so it's two very different skills. So in my background and my path, it has been make sure I've got the lights or an alternative or a system you need, whether it might be mixing chemicals to make a chemical light, whether it might be carrying those tools you need. Whereas bushcraft will teach you how to make rush lights, rush mats, and so on. So, I'm not a great bushcrafter. Sticks will tell you this. I'm a great country lad, that comes to foraging, making, mending, and making do. But I wouldn't say I'm a big bushcrafter because I've never really had the time for it. Not when I can walk into the quartermasters and go, "Oh, can I take 2 of those and 3 of those and 1 of those?" And I might need 1 of these. Jack of all, master of none, definitely, and always open to learning more and more and more. As the older I get, the more I see how important bushcraft skills are, and how they can make a brilliant foundation for a lot of situations and a lot of conditions. But unfortunately, I'm still stuck in that old mindset of be equipped, use what's effective. And it doesn't always mean the latest and most modern kit. Okay, sometimes some of the older traditional kit methods work well. That's why I like flint and steel. Yeah, I love flint and steel. Puts me in contact with my ancestors. Talking of which, kit. So here's a good buy for you. You can find them on Amazon at the moment. Now I've had a Russian felt blanket for probably 3 or 4 years, and it's brilliant. Absolutely fantastic.
I think that was like 2 years because you cannot put it 3 or 4 years on.
So that's a Russian felt blanket. It's what was issued to the Russian soldiers.
Yeah, Willow's rather taken with that one, isn't he?
That's the width, and it is, I would say, 7 foot long, and a good. I'm 5'9", so you're talking 4.5 foot wide. They're a brilliant blanket. Okay, these Russian ones are a combination, so they're part wool and part modern materials. Okay,
they're very heavy, aren't they?
They are felted and they are heavy. They're thick, they're heavy, they're warm, they're comfortable. They make a brilliant insulating layer, but you can't get them so easy anymore. Partly on the advice of my son, I had a look, and I managed to pick up, because they're getting rid of these, and you pick them up in some of the Army surplus sites. That's a Czech felted blanket. Okay, now it's a bit lighter.
It's softer, isn't it?
But it's softer. Okay, it's
oh, Willow's is a blanket.
Often put down as a fleeced blanket, cool. But they are wool.
Oh, Willow.
Sorry, Willow. They are wool.
It's all right, mate.
They're about the same size, just a little bit lighter, but they make an absolutely fantastic car blanket if you're looking for a car blanket, or an insulating pad if you're looking for something to fold up and create a bit of ground protection. Hello.
Sorry, it's hiding under my feet.
There you go, mate. All right. I've got to apologise to the dog now because I nearly hit him with the monocular. They're about 20 quid. So, for what they are,
they would make a good poncho, yeah.
Yeah. I wanted one for the car, so that's what I've bought that one for. Because I've been going up and down the country, it's always in the back of mind. If the weather conditions get bad, or if I just get that tired that I need to pull over and have a kip, I want to be able to sort myself out and have a kip. Now, I don't do sleeping bags in the car too well, because over the years, what I've found is things like my pickup, there's no big long space to lay out in. It's going to be a case of put the seat back, make myself as comfortable as I can. Trying to get in and out of a sleeping bag in a car, especially, I just find it's too constrictive. Don't like it. Don't like it, Mikey. And hence, I prefer the blanket. So a good quality felted blanket like that will do the job for me. So that one's going into my pickup, which is going to give me, or horse blanket. Yeah, you can go with that.
Yeah.
So that's going to give me something in the car that I can use.
That's a house remover's blanket. It's not house, it's horse.
Horse, yeah, house. Or house remover's blanket. Yeah. Or horse blanket. That's going to give me a nice bit of protection. Bear in mind, if you're going to sleep in the car in most situations, you're going to be clothed anyhow. So it's just going to help me create that dead air barrier and make myself a little bit more comfortable. Also, and I don't like to get into that, but if you did come across something unfortunate, okay, something a bit nasty, you've got something in the car that's big enough to cover things up. Okay, gives people dignity, gives animals dignity, also stops other people, especially young people, seeing things, especially in this day of instant photos of everything you shouldn't be photographing. People tend to. So, yeah.
Yeah. Looking at. Sorry.
Yeah. So, yeah. Hopefully that's given you a little bit of information. Yeah. So, sleeping bag for ground dwelling, quilt for hammock, wool blanket thrown over. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
That's true, Mike.
Yeah. Very right, Mike. Very right, Mike. Mike from Mick. Maybe you or someone else with military background and tech knowledge has a clue. Yeah,
he's asking the next one as well.
Yeah. Right, I'm not a technology guy for you there, Mike. GPS jamming on the phone. Yeah. I don't know how you would bypass. I know what I would do in that situation, but I'm not in your position. And if you're somewhere where they're going to be jamming GPS, it's usually from a security and safety role. So the problem for you there is anything you do to debug that GPS jamming is going to put you at risk with your local authorities. So yeah, I'd be very wary there.
John said it's a good sized Afghan refugee community in St. Louis. He picked up 2 of the wall tattoo shawls.
Yeah.
Can cause a bit of PTSD with some folks. Yeah, but again.
Yeah. That
he's not travelling alone.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
yeah. Good. As long as you're not travelling alone, mate. Yeah. So blankets. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from there, John. It's a difficult one. The thing is, I don't want to say to people, triggers can be anywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
For people that suffer with PTSD, a trigger can be almost anything from a sound, a visual, a smell, a noise, even down to a combination of noises, loud voices, lots of people talking, or else it could be a trigger. And it's one of those difficult ones. One of the things I was toying with doing with this blanket, and I might look into doing it, so is taking this blanket. We've got a very good tailor not far from here, or seamstress, and I was actually toying with getting her to stitch this blanket for me into.
What I'd like to know, he said he understands your point, but do you think they can notice?
A heavy canvas sheet. Okay, so basically the canvas sheet becomes layered with the wool blanket. Now you could do that also with a tarp. You could do it with the poncho and that, but I'm actually toying with sort of developing what I would call an old school roll system, so that the blanket becomes the insulating layer, the tarp becomes the waterproof and the windproof layer. It's not going to be light. It's not going to be light at all, but I wanted to have a go. So I'd seen it years ago as a drover's setup, and it would just, the guy would literally lay down at night and flop the whole thing over him. It would give him his shelter and everything else, and then in the morning would roll the whole lot up together, and it would have his pot, his cook pot, his squirrel cooker, and that all within it. And he'd roll that up at the end of the day, tie it off, and it would go over his shoulder, and that combined with the stick and walk on. Yeah, swag roll basically.
You're saying he gets your point. He said, do you think they can notice? So they're probably listening out for sort of trigger things, Mike, aren't they?
Yeah.
And I don't think that.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that wouldn't be triggered.
Yeah.
By yourself.
No, I'd hope not. So.
All skin canvas with wool. Seeing this set on the Bushcraft Spain site looked pretty good. Bomb-proof.
Which one was that?
From John. All skin canvas with wool.
Yep.
Oh, a Clint Eastwood poncho advertised. Not sure of quality. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. If you go a good old-fashioned canvas tarp, can be oiled. It can be treated with modern repellents and that. It's hard wearing. It's sturdy. It's quite resistant to the ground. It is fair. It's not fireproof. It's not heat 100% fireproof. It's a lot more heat resistant and spark resistant than the modern tarps and ponchos that we use that have only got to get a single tiniest little spark on it and there's your hole. They tend to be a lot more resistant than that. The downside of canvas is it is heavy, okay? But if I'm going out into extreme environments, what do I want? Do I need something that is super, super light, or do I want something I know is going to get me through? So I wanted to have a go, knocking one up, and see how it worked out for me. Again, might be a good system for just throwing in the car. I think the canvas combined with the blanket is going to produce something that has actually got a lot of weight, but it's going to be quite a good insulating layer. Yeah. So I am a printout dude. I am a maps man. I don't use much in the way of technology for traveling around. The only time I really use technology is if I'm in the car, and then I tend to use, over here in the UK, I use Google Maps because it gets quite quick updates and that for traffic jams and give me orders. But if I'm out and I'm on foot, invariably I like a piece of paper, which I know is difficult for you, Mike. I understand that, but that's my go-to for me, is having something printed out that I can physically look at, orientate, take the time over, work myself out with it. Yeah, I would have thought. Yeah, I was wondering if there is an audio map system. So again, not having a visual difficulty is something that I've not really looked into. John, definitely combining the Lavoo with a wool blanket would be absolutely fantastic. As you all know, I'm a great lover of the Lavoo, and my Lavoo I use as a cape as well as a shelter. So it's, for me, it is like a poncho on steroids. It is a super poncho. If I'm going out and it's going to be snowing and I'm choosing to take a poncho system for those conditions, I'm taking a Lavoo. Because in the worst case scenario, I can button the thing up, push it out around me, sit down cross-legged, light a candle, and I know I can heat that space inside it. They are absolutely brilliant. And I'm not saying canvases are the best thermal protection. They hold heat better than modern materials. Yeah. Jason, it's often the way. Good old-fashioned wool blanket. I do love a wool blanket. They do work well. I've got a lot of people say, "Oh, bloody wool, it's bloody heavy. Oh, it doesn't work. It doesn't work." Well, quite often, I think it's because they've not actually got a wool blanket. Quite often, they've got something that's made out of man-made fibres. Wool swells when it's wet, and one of the bonuses with natural materials like that is the fact that they swell when they're wet. They tend to be a lot more thermally efficient.
Yeah, he was saying that he's got Google open street maps in his phone, but with the jamming, they're of no use.
Yeah, no use, because it's going to knock it down. And obviously, we all know why they're jamming, and we're not going to get into that. So please, guys, don't let's get into that political thing, because we don't do it on this channel. There are many people around the world, just ordinary guys, who stick to that. So what would I think really, if you're with somebody, it's going to be go with the paper map, Mike, and get them to be your guide. That's going to be my best advice to you. Yeah. Unless you can, again, you can't I was just wondering if you could preload something that would guide you. But the problem is, even with preloaded, it's knowing whether you're at the right place at the right time to turn left, turn right, cross over, and so on.
Jason, peanut butter tea.
Well, that might work, Mike. That would be interesting to hear about. I'll have a look into that one. Phone recognises the location of Wi-Fi points, working with Wi-Fi points around the course. Yeah. Yeah, so this is one of those difficulties, isn't it? And this is one
Like
of
actually being in
yeah
in these
and it just goes to show as well. And this is something for the rest of us to think about. Okay, so GPS jamming. Okay, if a state, if you took somewhere like London was under threat, and they decided to mitigate the threat of drones and things like that by knocking out GPS, and they suddenly took that all away from you, what are you going to do? How are you going to get by? And bear in mind, modern technology, this is quite a feasible, practical and simple thing to do. So it is very easy for authorities, wherever you are in the world, to jam signals. They can knock out satellite,
okay. That's not
Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. You pretty much, they can knock out your internet access. And what do you do without it?
I've preloaded maps before now to use because I knew that my phone wouldn't work outside. But yeah, I really don't know the answers to that.
No. Yeah, preloaded Garmin on a preloaded route. Yeah, it's about the only thing I can think of.
All right, so SatNav just tells you you're at the airport and nothing else.
Yeah, that's tricky, mate. That is really difficult. Three dogs cracking jokes again.
About jamming.
Jamming, yeah.
Why you couldn't bury Bob Marley?
No, coffee was jamming. Yeah, that's perfect, Jason. So just Jason say he's got the entire island where he lives preloaded onto his. That's the only option I can think of is to preload. But again, you're not going to be able to give updates or anything like that, or go with a hard map. Like you say, you've got somebody with you, so they're going to have to be your guide. That's the easiest one I think of. Yeah. So
you have to go in a minute.
Yeah, Kaz is finding it a bit difficult at the moment. She's in quite a bit of pain because she's not got a thyroxine. Hasn't had it for a week now. Her body's starting to fight against her a little bit because it's what helps her to balance up everything. Yeah. So she's going to go and have a lay down. I'm going to take over, and yeah,
I will get back to everyone with the. I will get back to you, Andy, with your stuff you need.
Yeah. And, can you just give me 2 seconds?
Yeah, of course.
Grab me. And then I'll show you the t-shirts.
Thanks all. I'm with the whole missing meds and that, and I'm finding things just a bit on top at the moment. So thank you anyway. Yeah, I'll try and take it easy. Thank you. He's not coming up tonight, is he?
Yeah, he's not curled up. I think it's because
he hasn't turned up tonight.
No, I said I'd take him out later on.
Oh, right.
I didn't want the young lad walking around out there in the rain.
Yeah.
So I said I'd take Willow out afterwards. Right. So, I've got some t-shirts to show you guys because we were wondering about having some t-shirts, not made for us, just holding some t-shirts that you thought you guys might like. So I want your ideas and your thoughts upon it. See what you think. Because we all like a good t-shirt, and summer's coming. There you go. Simon's just said, Kaz, chin up, babe.
Thank you.
Teresa's just said, hope you have a better one tomorrow, Kaz.
Thank you very much, all.
Right, so fashion time. Nicky's not going to take his t-shirt off, but there you go.
Most of them are large.
We have bushcraft. Nature is at home. Okay, for those of you that are bushcrafters. We have, I think most of these are bushcraft related. bushcraft into the wild. And then we've got the plain axe t-shirts, which I quite like. I've got a couple of these myself, which is that one. We've got it in red. And for those of you that want to blend in, got it in green. So we've got a selection of t-shirts we're looking at. Let me just move that out of the way. And again, do you think it's worth holding? Oh, got to adjust my chair. Holding some t-shirts. Right then. Let's get into it. Right. Yeah, I like the two. The two first ones are a little bit more colour, a little bit more. But the playing with the axe simple. The others are a bit busy for you. There you go. That's the interesting contest to see. Will there be a willow t? Right, we're working on a willow t-shirt. Okay, so Isla Jason did be that cracking short. Okay, with Willow with his rifle and all the rest of it. So we're actually thinking of having that printed onto the back of a t-shirt and over the top, love those you do, and underneath as a bottom rocker, forgive those you don't. Okay. We thought that would make quite a nice little t-shirt for the channel, one that we would actually have produced for us. We were looking at the materials, and because I wear a lot of these, they're man-made. They're not polycotton, 100% poly, whatever thing t-shirts. The idea is they act as a wick, so you sweat in that. It takes some moisture away from you. They wash and dry really, really fast. So I use that as a base layer. And it comes from years of surfing and things like that. We used to use the surf shirts under our kit to just protect the body, and you find that they work really, really good. Yeah. I mean, we're toying with actually changing the logo. I was even toying with changing the channel name and dynamic, okay, because it's evolved. Hampshire Outdoors and Survival. It's quite a big mouthful, okay. It's quite a big thing to set up, and one of the other problems for me is every time I try and do anything via the internet and I type in Hampshire Outdoors or Hampshire Outdoors and Survival, it just goes to Hampshire County Council, Outdoors, Recreation and so on, which is becoming a bit of a pig. So I'm tempted to actually look into what it's going to take to change it slightly, whether it might be just dropping it down to HOS, okay, and doing it that way. The wild boar logo I've always liked because it's one of my favourite animals. I admire the wild boar, although they can be very destructive and they can be a pest, but it's an animal that I'll always associate with a lot of my own belief systems, which is they will protect their family. They are intelligent. They are just an incredible animal. Anybody that's ever worked with pigs and that knows how tenacious and how intelligent they are. So, and I've always had a love and an interest in the Celtic side of things. So the Celtic boar that you see on there, Mac come up that design for me, and I've always liked it. Yeah. So it's yeah. Where do we go from there? I mean, it is what it is, isn't it? So, and again, being that I'm not particularly arty, it's playing with these things and figuring it out. Do it on the top, do it on the bottom. Great one, Bill. Oh, some pigs are a-holes, but then aren't we all? I'm the biggest a-hole you'll ever meet. And they do taste good. Yeah. Hampshire OS, yeah, which is always going to take me to the Ordnance Survey Maps 3 dog. It's one of those two, and this is my advice to any of you that are considering starting a channel. When you're looking at names and what you can come up with, yeah, bear this in mind, that in a year's time, you might get fed up with writing it all out in full, or you want to try and make it easy for people to find. So try and find something short, snappy, unique to yourself. It's one of those things, go and Google it, look at it, use ChatGPT or whatever you do to find a name that's going to be fairly unique and simple to yourself. I wish I'd thought about that in the beginning, but it was pretty much Hampshire's where I live. Outdoors and survival is what I do. You know, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't include bushcraft, because I don't consider myself a bushcrafter. I use some bushcraft skills, and I have a love for bushcraft, but it's not necessarily my go-to. Okay, I am a the hog in Aldershot. Yeah, you can't call it Aldershot. No, not the generations of squaddies have. Yeah. So you just find something that works for you. So survival programs. What are we looking at the moment? What are we looking at over the next few weeks? Well, I'm on the road for the next few weeks. I've still got a lot of driving to do up and down the country. The weather conditions are getting worse. They are predicting snow, so the car is getting sorted out. I've already got a practical survival kit in there, which is 24 hours of food, heating kits, brewing kits, first aid kit, firefighting kit, all the usual bits and pieces. Yeah, Jason Campcraft. Yeah, that's definitely a better description. So it's I'm jinking it a little bit because I'm a bit concerned, especially with the reports, not so much for this week, but the week after, is the area I'm going to be travelling to could possibly be white. And at the back of my mind, bear in mind I'm quite often pulling trailers and that, it's if I get into a situation where it's either too dangerous, too difficult for me to manoeuvre safely, I'll have to pull up. Yes, Mike, we do have wild boar in the UK. So for many, many years, they were considered extinct. They had been hunted into oblivion. And in the late 80s, early 90s, there was a change to farming law, which meant people could start rearing wild boar on farms as long as they were controlled safely. You had to make sure that they couldn't get out, and so on and so on and so on. So there was a lot of people started farming these animals, and they are incredible beasts. And as will happen with all farm animals, eventually some got out, and they breed well. This is an environment they survive and thrive in. And they started getting out into places like national parks, military land, places where there weren't many people. And once they got into those places, they thrived. Okay, so most of our wild boar in the UK are originated from European wild boar, not the biggest of species, but one of the more tenacious breeds, and they've done really, really well. In 2004, I looked after 1,600 hectares of military land, and it was ranges. The actual ranges were set up around the outside, they fire into the centre, and it was a sandy soil. And I started finding these tracks that I didn't recognise, or didn't recognise them initially, because I was expecting them to be deer tracks. I kept seeing these cloven hoof marks, and my brain was going, they're not deer. So in the end, I photographed them and had a look myself, and I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's wild boar, but apparently there's no wild boar in that area. Then early one morning, I'm out setting out the areas and getting everything prepped ready to go. So it's about 5 o'clock in the morning. It's just getting light. It's really, really misty. I come around a corner, and across the road in front of me go 4 or 5 wild boar. and the largest animal there wasn't particularly big. I'd probably say nose to tail appeared to be about 4 foot. Everything thereafter got steadily smaller, and they were the European wild boar. They were stripy. They had that large shouldered build, that hunchback. They were stocky as hell. I saw them, and anything like that we had to report. So I go back and I get hold of the Ministry of Defence nature guy, and I said to him, I've just seen a family of wild boar. No, you haven't. I said, yes, I have. No, you haven't. They were probably muntjac deer. You're confused. I said, no, I grew up in the countryside. I hunt. I regularly stalk deer. I know exactly what they are. They were pigs. I have grown up on a farm. I know what pigs are. I know what pigs do. No, there's 100% they're not. So the more I looked into it, the more I started to study the area, the terrain, the sort of places they would go into. Then I started to find more traces. I started to find the rooting, the damage to the ground. I found wallows. I found everything that said 100% they're wild boar. No, there are no wild boar here. All the officials, no, there's no wild pigs here. Then I retired. I left. That was in 2017. And lo and behold, I think about 3 weeks ago, somebody produced video footage from within 5 miles of where that training area is. And it was video footage of wild boar giving it hell in the middle of a road. It actually stopped the traffic, caused a traffic jam whilst these two boar were having a go at one another. Video footage proved it 100%. They're out there. Other areas of the UK have had them for about 10 to 20 years. Places like the Forest of Dean, some of the moorland areas, they've been there. But again, pigs, they're intelligent. They avoid people, okay? They're not daft. They avoid dogs. They avoid people. They will keep themselves hidden. They hear you, smell you. They clear off. They get out of the way. The only time that you ever really at risk from a wild boar is if you come across it unexpectedly, if you corner it, or you become a threat to its young. Okay, anybody that's worked with pigs knows that if you get in with the piglets or start picking the piglets up, the sow is going to attempt to tear your leg off. And again, on the other side of that, be aware of that. They are powerful animals. Their teeth are razor sharp. Okay, they can move like lightning. They might look like big lumps, but they are fast and they can maintain speed for a long time. So my tip is, in the UK, if you think there's wild boar in the area, treat them exactly the same as you would if you were in North America and a bear. Make noise. Let them know you're coming. They'll get out of your way. They'll stay. They'll do everything they can to avoid you. Yeah, Mike. If I was a pig, yeah, I've heard the rumours about bacon. I definitely would avoid people. Yeah, but they're incredible animals, and I've got a massive amount of time for them. There are many species out there that we often look at in horror. The rat. The rat, again, as a pest controller, I've probably been responsible for killing many hundreds and hundreds of rats in my lifetime. Does it mean I hate rats? No, completely the opposite. I've got the utmost respect for the rat. Okay, a wild rat, or the poor rat, he's survived alongside us for thousands of years. He's faced every weapon we could throw at him, from dogs, guns, poisons, every tool we produce against them to eradicate them. They've survived. They've adapted. They've learned that humans provide food, shelter, warmth. So they've learned to live amongst us and around us. And there is a saying that you're never more than 5 feet from a rat anywhere in the world. I'm quite inclined to agree with that. So, yeah, if I had rats under my shed, yes, I'd do my best to get rid of them. Do I hate them? No, not by a long shot. I have a lot of respect and time for them as a creature. Again, because they're just intelligent, tenacious, and live amongst us. Yeah, the camps are great fun, and I'm actually out this week. I'm meeting up with Gareth to start chatting about getting the next camp organised. So that will be probably going to be looking at late spring, early summer for that. So as soon as I got the details and the dates for that, I'll announce it on here, and I'll let you guys know. Bud and Wiser, yeah, Mac had 2 rats, pet rats. Bud and Wiser, incredible animals, absolutely fantastic and intelligent, super intelligent. Don't ever let anybody tell you that a rat is a stupid thing. Far more intelligent than dogs, and I will say quite often more intelligent than some of the human beings I've met in my time. They are fantastic. Do they carry disease? Yes, unfortunately, wild rats can carry diseases, but where do they get the diseases from? From the environments and positions we put them in. That's the unfortunate thing. Yeah. Bill, yeah. Yeah. And again, why are they coming into the garden? They're looking for food sources, I expect. Bird feeders are one of the biggest attractors to rats. Would I be bothered if I saw rats on the bird feeder? Not really. Yeah, I just tend to have. yeah. I'll tell you the story of that. So, I used to work for Macca's PA, okay, and so every day I would go over to Mac's and I'd have a list of how the companies were doing, who was doing what, who was doing, how things were going. And we would have a meeting in the mornings, and then we'd have a chat, and he'd work out what he wanted people to do, what he wanted to authorise, what he wanted to clear, plan, and so on. He'd give me that information, and I'd go back to the various managers and relay it to them in a manner that meant that they did it. Mac had these 2 rats, Chinese hooded rats, Bud and Wiser. These rats were absolutely fantastic. They had their cage, okay? They would come out of their cage, come over, have a chat to you. You could make a fuss of them and that, and they would get back in their cage. Okay, absolutely fine, absolutely dandy. Okay, cleanest things you'll ever meet as well. Domesticated rats are super clean, super tidy, super intelligent, super friendly. All of a sudden, now Mac doesn't eat bread, and all of a sudden, in his house, kept appearing these bread rolls. Okay, and in the end, Max says to me, he said, "Will you stop bringing bread rolls into my house? I don't eat bread. Don't want it here. Don't bring it round." I was like, "Well, I'm not. It's not me. So it's got to be you, because there's nobody else comes around here. It's got to be you bringing the bread rolls around." So no, definitely not me. You sort of give me a look like, yeah, you just admit it. You're bringing the bread rolls here. We don't have fairies and pixies. And then one day, he discovered how they were getting there. And his rat had found a hole in the wall. And the hole in the wall went into the neighbour's place. It went into the cupboard where they stored the bread rolls. And his rats were going and nicking bread rolls and bringing them back into his house and leaving them on the side. So, yeah, fantastic, intelligent animals. We've had a couple over the years ourselves. Absolutely fantastic. We also had, at one point, my sons had a couple of pet rats, and they also had a gerbil. And that gerbil was the hardest critter I've ever met in my life. He was tough as nails. Again, he would come to your hand, make a fuss of him, wander around his cage. I'd come in from work and he'd be there with doing one arm pull-ups on the roof of the cage. Tough as anything. And then one day we heard the rats kicking off. Or like, what's going to upset the rats? And it was the gerbil was trying to get through the bars of the cage to get in and sort the rats out. The rats are like 5 times his size, but he's like, "No, I've got to kill it. Let me in there." So don't trust the little ones. Hard as nails, that gerbil. In fact, the boy's actually, his name was Damn Furball. But again, around the farm, around my livestock, around my family, yeah, 0.22. That tends to deal with them. Now, I did get asked the other week, eating. Would you eat a rat? Well, I have done. Yeah, and squirrels and rabbits. There ain't a lot on them, but it's protein. And if you took it humanely from a clean source and a sensible environment, yes, it would keep you going. Like squirrels, they're quite simple to deal with, quite simple to clean. Can be swines to get the skin off, but yeah, easy done if you know the technique. And the rat is dealt with the same way as the squirrel. So if any of you want to know, take your knife and you go from neck to anus. Okay, open him up, clean him out like you would with a rabbit. You're just doing the exact same thing. You're getting everything out. Turn him on his back and almost spatchcock him out so he's flat. Make a small incision above the anus, but under the tail. Take the tail, stand on the back legs and pull, and all the skin will come off to the head. Okay, the only places you'll be left with a bit of skin is at the end of the arms. Take those off with your knife. That is your rat or your squirrel prepared. Their skin is tough as old boots. Okay, hence you want to use that tail to pull the skin off. There you go, done. Skinning and preparing squirrels and rats, quite easy. Quarter it, stew it. Yeah, walk. Yeah, it's it's okay. The only thing I don't eat the heads off of any animal like that. Yeah. Oh, mate, incredible animals. I used to do. One of my offices used to back onto a woods. So I had the ranges sort of like one side and the woods the other side, and there was a bank, and I had a bird feeder out there, which was my pleasure moment. You know, you sit there doing paperwork and that, look out the window to see the birds. And then I started getting squirrels, and I ended up literally making as many different challenges to these squirrels to try and stop them getting on the feeder as possible, and it would just take hours for them to work things out. I'd put things like big bucket lids, cut small holes in them, fastened them to the ropes. They made a big disc and watch these squirrels work out how to get around this thing. I made spinners, all sorts, put tubes on there. Even made a squirrel launcher. Did everything I could to try and stop the squirrels getting onto the bird feeder. And in the end, it became a game. It was literally, what can I come up with next to try and slow these things down? And just had to give up in the end, just knowing that they were going to beat you. The funniest one we had was I took the bird feeder apart and stuck it on a metal pole, scaffold pole. I stuck it so it was about 8 foot in the air. And I used to grease this pole. Well, I'm being a bit of a softie. Don't want to poison anything or damage anything. So instead of using grease, I used margarine. And I coated this pole in cheap margarine. And the first day, you see a squirrel come bounding up, you look at the pole, and he'd jump up on the pole, grab the pole, and then just slowly slide down it. You've now got a greased squirrel. Funny as hell. Annoyed the hell out of the squirrels. It was funny. About a week later, I started to notice that I was coming in the mornings and all the margarine was gone off the pole and the squirrels were doing their best eating the food. And I was like, well, they must be rubbing it off or doing something. So I started smearing more and more margarine on this pole. And every day I'd come in, the margarine would be gone. And then I had a night shoot one night. When you have night shoots, you have to shut the shutters on the windows so you let no light out onto the range, so it's pitch black. I've closed the shutters, locked myself down, waiting for the unit to come in to do the night shoot, and that was midsummer, so they were probably looking at coming in for about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And whilst I'm sat there in the dark, in the quiet, just minding my own, reading a book, I could hear something going on outside. So I got up very carefully, crept out the building, walked round the corner very, very carefully, had a look, only to find a roe deer stood in front of the pole going, and it was a roe deer coming in every night, and he was cleaning all the margarine off the pole. Just one of those things. It was like, so margarine in the pole came to an end because I sort of come to the point. I was like, margarine can't be good for that deer, and yeah. So I just gave up in the end. I just accepted it. I just went, well, the squirrels are going to be there. So I changed the feed system a little bit from grains or larger grains and nuts to finer grains, things like Nigella seeds and stuff like that. The birds still came in and got it, the squirrels weren't so keen on it. It was too small and fiddly for them. They weren't bothered by that, especially as they were surrounded by plenty of food sources anyhow. Used to prank them occasionally. To show you how intelligent a squirrel is, I took a cup and I took a slice of bread and I forced it into the bottom of this cup. Absolutely rammed it in there as tight as I could and put that on the bird feeder. I just watched a squirrel come up to the bird feeder, go around the cup, look in the cup, and do everything he could to try and get this bread out. Now, he could nibble the top of the bread, but he couldn't get a lot out. And I watched him literally sit, look at the cup, walk round it, and then he stopped and he looked off the edge of the bird feeder. It's concrete underneath. He literally looked down at the concrete, looked at the cup, and then just pushed it off. Intelligence. Straight to the floor, picked up the bread, did a runner. I was like, how can you beat that? How can you beat it? You can only work, it's another thing. You can only work with nature. You can't work against it. Yeah, well, that's something I've learned recently. Chili. Yeah, apparently birds can't taste chili. The heat of chili has no effect on the birds, but it does on mammals. Mike, take it easy, mate. Have a good one. Hope together tomorrow is a good day for you. Good together with English guy on a calf practicing by speaking. Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. Have a great one, my friend. Yeah, take care. Have a good night. Yeah. Yeah. Squirrels, rats, intelligent. Yeah, we'll do. I'll pass that on to her. Thank you so much, my friend. Yes, there's so much out there in the world. So much out in the world. You got to learn to live with nature. You can't fight against it, and that goes in all scenarios, whether it be animals, plants, weather, environments. You have to come to an agreement with it, and the more you fight against it, the more you will lose, whether it be in energy and mental strength. The more you work with it, the more you find that it'll actually aid you. A simple fact that you have to remember is there are very, very few places on this planet where human beings have not learned to survive. And anywhere that somebody else can learn to survive, you can adapt to survive. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, cats and rats. We used to keep cats on the farm. Used to keep farm cats. Now, farm cats never to be mistaken for what I would call a domestic cat. These are feral cats. Okay, so they don't come indoors. They don't really want to associate with human beings. They're quite happy out in the barn, living in the straw, bedding in the straw, doing all their rat things outdoor or cat things outdoors. And when I used to have friends come to visit, quite often I used to have to say to them, look, oh, you see them go, oh, a nice cat. You go, don't touch the cat. It will tear your hand to pieces. It's not a domestic cat. It's not a pet cat. It doesn't want to be petted. These cats would literally, yes, we'd feed them, we'd give them water, but the majority of their food came from what they caught. When it comes to having cats as pets round here, we do have a rat population around here, which is higher than it should be. And that is because some people don't think about what they're putting out, rubbish and things like that. And we also have a high cat population, but majority of the cats that I see around here are, well, maybe I'm not being cruel, but a bit of an embarrassment to cats. A bit overweight, a bit stodgy. The idea of exercise is maybe walking 5 feet and then curling up under a bush, sunning themselves. Very, very little in cats there. But the interesting thing is, if you then stopped feeding them, they would very quickly revert to being feral. And like I say, feral cats are never to be confused with a domestic cat. They ain't going to be happy if you try and tickle their belly. In actual fact, you're not going to be happy that you try to tickle its belly. It will tear your hand to pieces. They have their place. Cats in the trenches in Ukraine, I expect there are. I expect they thrive. Cats, like dogs, in emergency situations or disaster situations, they adapt very quickly. Dogs tend to form packs. Unfortunately, the smaller and the weaker get weeded out quite quickly. And what you end up with then is they start to revert very, very similar to the wolf. The difficulty is you tend to find they have no fear of man. Okay, and that's why over the years in a lot of places, guys have been told on sentry duty and things like that. You know, if you see the packs of dogs, deter them. That's what we'll say, deter them. It's not a cruelty thing. It's not a nasty thing. It's because quite often in these places, these dogs have become a threat to the locals, the guys on the ground, also carrying diseases, things like rabies and so on. So yeah, you end up having to do that unfortunate job. Lee Michelle, I expect you're right there. Yeah, if you have a cat approach you in the trenches dressed like a rocket raccoon from the Guardians of the Galaxy, you know you're screwed. Oh yeah, yeah. There's another creature that's in the UK, raccoons. Not a very big population, but apparently we do have a population of raccoons in various parts of the country, which pleases me because I like a raccoon. I'm not saying I've ever eaten one because I haven't, but I do. Yeah, what I've seen of them, another intelligent animal, another vastly clever creature that's learned to live alongside man. Got to admire it, haven't you? Got to admire it. Yeah. So, and I expect if you live somewhere where you're plagued by them, they can be a menace. But yeah, we don't have that many here, so we do tend to look at them probably with a bit more of a heart than mind, I suppose. I don't know if any of my American friends can tell me about raccoons. Are they major pests, or are they just clever little buggers that have learned to live alongside you? I know there's again, as with all mammals, there's a risk of rabies, which is always a concern. That's why I get people in the UK saying to me, "Oh, I watched an American video and they were freaking out because it was just a squirrel." Yeah, if it was a squirrel with rabies, I'd freak out. You don't want to be bitten by something that's carrying that disease. Same reason why a lot of people that come from all over the world have natural fears of dogs, fears of animals like that. We tend to live in a country here, especially where we don't have the issues that they might have with the dangers of packs of dogs and disease and so on. So we tend to be a bit more easygoing. We love our dogs. I love my dogs, but again, yeah, you've got to be careful. Yeah, there's no such thing as a stupid question. Could you cook the rabies out of a squirrel? I wouldn't like to even take the chance. Do you know what? If that squirrel's got rabies, I'm probably going to kill it and destroy it. Actually, incinerate the body, get rid of it. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I know things like myxomatosis. You can eat rabbit with myxomatosis. It's not something that migrates to human beings, and if you cook it properly, you're not going to have an issue. In actual fact, a myxomatosis rabbit was easy prey. If you think about it in a survival situation where you've got an animal that can't see or hear you, it's going to be the easiest food source you can get. You can probably just walk up and pick it up in a lot of cases. And I know for a fact you cook it, you've not got an issue. It's a non-transmissible. The other thing a lot of people miss out on is it's not always the big things. Anything that you catch, you should cook well. I've regularly come across things like tapeworm in rabbits. So again, you've got to be very aware of that. There's all sorts of parasites and pests and illnesses that you can catch from animals, but in 99% of cases, it can be cooked out. So again, cook it well. Whenever I'm doing game, or whenever I used to be doing game, one of the inspections I was doing, as well as the lymph nodes and that, would be to check the gut, again, for that sort of problem. Yeah. Squirrels will square up to you. They don't care. They're hard as nails. Yeah. Yeah. Clever little buggers as well. Got a lot of time. Like I say, I've got a lot of time for them. I've got a lot of time for all living things. They've all got a place. We all live alongside them. Some of them taste better than others. Yeah, always check the liver. You're always looking for a healthy liver. Okay. You want to know what a healthy liver looks like? Go to the butcher's. Anything that doesn't look like that, discard it. Okay. And again, it's yeah, it's you always got to have a little bit of caution with anything you gain. I have seen videos of people selecting things from the side of the road. Okay, and I've mentioned this in the past, so I'm going to mention it quick again now. Roadkill. Okay, roadkill. I don't have a problem with people eating roadkill, but you have to have a little bit of sense about it. I've met people that say to me, if it's warm, it's safe. Okay, well, that's not always the case, because if you've got a carcass and you leave it outside for any length of time, it goes through a process where it cools from natural body heat, it gains rigor mortis, it goes stiff, and then the rigor mortis eases off and it will go floppy in that, and it will feel quite natural. And then the temperature will start to rise in it. That temperature rising in it will happen within hours sometimes, if not days. And that is the bacteria starting to break down the animal. Now, at that point, yes, it can still be consumed, but it has to be cooked well. You have to cook that bacteria out of it. You have to kill the bacteria. It's essential. The other thing to bear in mind, and it's not so likely to happen today, but used to happen. I had a case donkeys years ago now, and I mean donkeys years ago. And what it was a gentleman went into a vet's one morning with his dog, and his dog was dying. Okay, it was collapsed in his arms, it was passing, and they were trying to work out what was wrong with the dog. The vet's speaking to the guy and says to the guy, have you given the dog anything strange to eat? Has it been anywhere? Has it picked anything up? Anything like that? Because it looks like poisoning. And the guy said, well, the only thing I've given it, which shouldn't have bothered it, was it had the liver from a deer yesterday. And the other dog's dead. It died. It died before he could get this one to the vets, or get them to the vets. And this one was on its way out. And when they analysed it, they worked out what happened. It had been actually that vet had dispatched one of the nurses the day before, because he was on an emergency case, to euthanize an injured deer. And she euthanized it with ketamine. Okay, so she gave it a big old dose of ketamine. The deer went, oh, thank you very much, and away it went. Problem with ketamine is it stays in the system. Okay, it's not something that evaporates out or leaves the system. It stayed in the system of the animal, and there was a large amount of ketamine in the liver. So this guy's taken what he thought was a fresh deer home. He's cleaned it, he's gutted it, he's taken the liver out. It looks healthy. He sliced it up, given it to his dogs. His dogs have wolfed it. Great, wonderful. First dog started going down and died quite quickly. And because it was an older dog, he put that down to natural circumstances. He said, the dog just started getting lethargic, curled up in its bed, and went. Didn't think nothing of it, other than the dog's died. Then the second dog starts becoming ill. It's a younger dog. It's more healthy. Its body's trying to fight the ketamine, and it starts wobbling and all the rest of it. He realizes something's wrong, and he takes it to the vets. So again, if you are taking things that are roadkill, you've just got to bear that story in mind. You've got to think to yourself, why is that animal dead? Does it have any injuries on it? Has it been clouted? So when it comes to me taking roadkill, it tends to be what I see in front of me. Okay, I stick to the old rule, and by law in the UK, you can't pick up what you've hit. And the reason that's there is to stop people swerving at animals, killing things like deer and pheasants and rabbits and that for the pot. The next car in the line is allowed to. If you're the person that didn't hit it, by law in the UK, you're quite entitled to pick it up, put it in the boot, take it home, clean it, prepare it, and eat it. Now, caveat to that, things being hit by cars. Anything that has been hit by a car is damaged. Can be quite severely so. Okay. anything that ruptures, especially the gut, the bowel, and the bladder, is going to contaminate the meat in that area. Okay, it's going to release a massive amount of bacteria into the body, into the cavity. Everything within that cavity is to be considered null and void. Okay, you don't want to eat it. If you see a deer clobbered by a car and it's gone down and it's safe to approach, again, don't approach a deer that is leaping about and so on. Those legs are stupidly powerful and those hooves are as sharp as knives. It can do you a lot of damage. You want to, your animal's been hit, it's gone down, it's done. Okay, so you want to incise the neck, bleed it out. So if you've got a fence, take the back legs, tie the back legs up on the fence, get the head as low as possible, open the carotid artery, let the animal bleed out. Good 20 minutes to half an hour. Okay, whilst you're doing that, bear in mind any damage in the internal organs is all dropping down, and that's going to leave you the best meat. Okay, the rear haunches. Okay, if the legs aren't broken and smashed, the rear haunches, you can take those off because there's no connection with the inner cavity. Turn it round, incise down the spine, peel the skin away, and take the back strap. Okay, or take the two back straps off. The rest of it is of no use to you because you're going to take that risk of bacterial infection. If it was a survival situation, yes, you might look at using more of the animal, but again, the golden rule is cook it. Really cook it well. My preferred method for anything like that at all is a stew. I make a stew, get it to a boil the life out of it. Make sure you're sterilising that meat. Okay. Bear in mind that these animals can carry other parasites and other issues within their body. So, okay. So they can carry things like tapeworm. They can carry things like wireworm. They can carry all sorts of things. So you just got to be a bit cautious. Cleanliness is your key there. Knives and things that you might want to use for that, you might want to look at something like that. Okay. There is nowhere that I can't clean on it. I'm not going to trap anything between a blade and a handle in any nooks, crevices. There is no chance of infection. It's small and efficient. Again, if you're looking at a game preparation knife, you want something small, clean, efficient, and easy to use. What I suggest for a lot of people, if they're looking at getting into it for the first time, okay, or they're looking at carrying a knife for that sort of thing, something like the Mora Carver is ideal because the handle is sealed to the blade, so there's no way debris and nasties can get in there. They're viciously sharp, but the other bonus is they're short, okay, which means you can slide your finger up on the blade like that, and when you're using it to incise, you can control the depth that you're going to, okay, so it controls how deep you go. You don't want to go into the body cavity, so quite often you want to open the skin up, look at the skin, and then start paring at the muscle. When it comes to working around bones and joints, a blade like that is absolutely superb because you can control it easily, get into the areas where you need to get to. They're small, sharp, and a very efficient knife. And that is the Mora Carver. I think when I bought that one, I bought it for about £11. Okay, even the sheath is easy to clean. Okay, put that into a dishwasher, boiling water, a bit of Dettol or something, give it a good scrub out on that, hang it up like that. It's going to dry. Stainless steel blade, fixed plastic handle. Just scrub that up, sterilise it, clean it, put it away. It's the Mora whittling knife. Okay, absolutely brilliant. And it makes a fantastic boning knife. It's good for fish as well. If you're preparing fish, that nice, thin, sharp, pointed blade is great for working. You can get in under the gills, you can open it up, you can gut it, clean it. If it's larger fish and you need to do a bit of boning on it, it's a great tool for that. So yeah, if you're looking at one knife to get for your game preparation, that's the one I'd have. And I always kept my game knives separate from my working knives. And the reason is you're preparing food, you're preparing something you're going to eat. If you're somebody that does a lot of carving, or you're doing a lot of bushcraft, you've got your bushcraft knife, which you're hauling out, you're chopping this, that, the other, poking things, stabbing things, slicing stuff. The blade's becoming contaminated. It can become contaminated with saps, resins, oils, bacteria, almost anything, and then you go and chop up your food with it. Yeah, don't wish to be twitchy. Have a separate knife for that sort of thing. Have one knife that you've dedicated. That is going to be for food. It doesn't get used for anything else. You know, it is your food knife. In actual fact, the perfect world, have one for meat and get a second Mora purely and simply for preparation, for chopping your veg, stuff like that. What fish can you eat out of waters? Well, it depends on your permissions. So, British angling. This is one of the difficulties we have. So, pretty much what you catch in the sea, you can eat. In UK waters, inland waters, they're all owned. All of them are owned. Okay. So it's catch and release, with the exception of trout streams and salmon rivers, where invariably you'll have to pay for permission to fish it, but you're normally given a limit and you can take what you eat on that. So I fish sometimes down at a place called Diva Springs, which is a trout fishery, and I think at the moment it's three trout from there. What you catch, you can take those three. The downside is irrespective of size. So you might catch the beast out of the place and come out with a nice big trout, or you might catch a couple of tiddlers. Okay, they have no objection to you if you wish to say, no, I'm releasing that one, to release it. But that counts as one off of your catch for the day. So, yeah, I know plenty of people that have been in difficult situations and have supplemented their diet with fish that they've caught. Okay. Traditionally in the UK, we used to eat a lot of river fish. It was a regular thing here. Perch, absolutely delicious, pan fried. Pike is another quite edible fish. And some waters, you can get permission to take the pike. Okay. So carp. The reason we got carp, so many carp in the UK, originally they were stocked by monks as a fish for food. Well, if you look at the history of edible fish in the UK and using fish as a food source, at one time the perch was known as the Prince of the River because they reckon it was one of the best tasting fish in the UK. The only fish in UK waters you don't want to eat is actually the chub, because everything I've read about chub, apparently no matter what you do to them, they taste like dirt. They taste absolutely disgusting. All other fish, if you purge them, apparently quite pleasant, and the perch being one of the best. Purging, for those of you that don't know, so you catch a fish out of a river, it's going to taste the river. Okay, it's going to have that dirty, silty flavour to it. So the technique is to catch the fish, and if you can, put it into clean running water or clean water. So take it home live, put it into a bath, let it swim around in that for 24 hours. And that, what it tends to do is that purges out that taste and that flavour. Yeah, Michelle, I tend to agree with you there. It would have to be a pretty clean river before I eat anything out of it. A lot of our rivers in the UK are so polluted, especially with the sewer companies these days, or the water companies not fulfilling their legalities and their requirements. Unfortunately, our rivers are in a pretty dire state. It's an embarrassing thing. As somebody that loves the countryside, I find it a horror and embarrassment. The fact that it is illegal to release untreated sewage into a waterway in the UK, with an exception that in flood events they can do. These companies, over the years, rather than invest in improving their facilities and their equipment, what have they done? So any chance they get, any opportunity they get, is declare it a flood problem and release it live into the river. Saves the shareholders millions of pounds a year. Make sure that they get their champagne at Christmas and they get their new carpets on the office floor. But when it actually comes to looking after the environment, no, they don't. No, they don't. I don't get political about many things, but they're one organisation I am absolutely disgusted with and have no time for. Water is a requirement, and it should be a resource that is guarded, looked after, and protected. We have a country with one of the biggest populations per metre or per kilometre of anywhere in the world. We have a massive population for a small country. We have a huge amount of rain. Every year we face droughts in one area, floods in another. Are they building reservoirs? Are they thinking to the future? Are they thinking about building pipelines so we can maybe shift water from water-rich areas to water-poor areas and manage it sensibly? Are they looking at building nature reserves? No, let's build a high-speed rail network that will take you from London to the other end of the country in hours. In actual fact, it'll be 15 minutes quicker than what we've already got. Oh dear, we can only afford to go halfway at the cost of billions. I'd rather have seen them build a waterway network from one end of the country to the other so that we could move water from one place to another so that we could better manage our water system and invest in modern, up-to-date, working sewage works. I've no problem with, in today's world where we have such an ability to filter, we can take literally water straight out of the sewers and using modern technology, filter it back into clean, safe water and put that back into the environment. No issue with that. But untreated, disgusted a lot of them. 3 Dog Night, take care, mate. Have a good one. Oh, you got me on my rant now. Oh, it's one of my bugs. We waste our governments waste money in glory projects. You want to create a glory product? I'll give you a product. See what you think of this. Mickey's plan. Let's create a national riverways network. Okay, it's not always going to be massive. There might just be in some places streams and brooks and things like that. But let's build throughout the UK, one into the other, a waterway system that's interlinked. Okay, literally one into the other. Let's base it off of maybe 1 or 2 or possibly 3 major canal routes that go from one end of the country to the other. And I'm not talking the old-fashioned 15-foot wide canal. I'm talking something that's 20, 30, maybe 40-foot wide. A proper river system that we can ship heavy goods on. So if you've got stuff that is massive, it can be used to move that where it couldn't be moved down a road, where it could move water from one end of the country to the other, where it would create environment for wildlife, recreation, something we can be proud of, something that our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren will look at and say how wonderful it is. No. Anyhow, that's 2 hours, 2 minutes. I'll leave you with that thought. Vote for me come the next election. No, I'm not going to run for politics. I don't want to become corrupted like the rest of them. Anyhow, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. Look after yourselves. I'm now going to dive off from here. I'm going to go see what I can do to sort Kaz out, make sure she's happy and comfortable. I apologise for the songs I've been throwing up. I'm just learning and trying to get into it. I'll see if I can I might do 1 or 2 more this week just for the fun of it. Anyhow, get outdoors, guys. Get some fresh air. Get some exercise. Stay safe. Stay happy. Practice your skills and abilities. Yeah. Thank you for being here tonight. God bless a lot of you. Yeah, okay. Love those you do. Forgive those you don't. May peace and light be upon you all. Till next week. I haven't had a chance yet, Max. I will do. That's what I'll do now. I'll dive off and have a look at that. Yeah. Stay safe, everybody. I'll chat to you all next week. Be good. This is Mickey out.